Hey. Hello, everyone. Oh, on the red thing. All right, so we'll test if that technology works this day. But my name is Zbigniew Braniecki. I'm working on internet projects for over 12 years now, and for me, the world of politics was always something like very strange, and especially the way they approach the modern society was. I never could grasp it. I never could understand what they're doing. Finally, the more I talk to people and the more I watch what they're doing, the more I realize that they just don't understand what they're doing. And I simply believe that we cannot trust them in moving forward and somehow fixing things that rise over the last years. So we have to do this on our own. And that will be my journey. But I'll start with the very simplified schema of what is the innovation, just to help you later with my talk. So we have X, which is a process, and X is applied on Y, and it's been like that for ages. We are so used to that we cannot imagine another way of doing this. We are so used to it that we are not able to judge if it's right or wrong. It's just like that. And then through the shifts of tectonic plates of our civilization, we are coming to the point when processes from a totally different field can be applied on this XY pair. I call it Z. And when it happens, well, that's where the innovation happens. And I'm going to talk today about a very specific case of using the processes known from internet organizations, which are what I know about, onto the political processes and how they apply to politics, which is what I studied for several years, and I don't understand. The topic is government hackability. How can we hack into government using the ways we know from projects like Wikipedia, Ubuntu, Mozilla, others? So we have to start with the definition. Hackability, according to my friend Tristan Utah, is ability to be modified in a way that was not intended by the creator, so that users can invent new ways to use it. So now think about government. Okay, let's start. I'll rephrase what Anna said in a very short loop. What is democracy? Democracy are citizens who participate in elections to choose the government, which uses media to communicate with them. Perfect. We have a loop, everything works. There are two problems I'm going to talk about. The first one is that we use layers. There are layers between citizens and government. There is no two-way direct communication whatsoever. And the second one is that one of the four elections happens once per 4 years. So if you think about this as a loop that a circuit circulates through, the elections takes once per 4 years. Once per 4 years, the loop is closed, and once per 4 years, we have those two parties have a goal in communicating. Government wants to talk to you because you are going to vote. And this is actually the only moment. For, like, if we try to draw it, and I'm going to use like a short scale to present a function of time and density of this two-way communication between government and society, it looks more or less like this. I hope you agree. So those spikes that happens just above here are elections, and then suddenly everybody wants to talk to you. And I'm pretty sure we could just create a small graph of the amount of new Twitter accounts created by politicians and new websites and new Facebook accounts created every time we have elections. But this is very far away. Like this is rooted in the democracy of 20th century. And I'm going to talk a little bit now about internet, which was created in a very different environment. And I believe that the way internet was created is much closer to how modern society works. So internet is built on several fundamental assumptions. It was always like that. We always had information easily accessible. Like every teenager knows that he can gather all the data that he has to find, and Google will help him, or Bing, or whatever. Openness to participation. It's so obvious that if something is on the internet, you can participate there. It's so natural. We cannot imagine that it would be not possible. Then we have structures that are transparent. I can probably, if you give me 5 minutes, I can figure out the structure of any internet project ever. And I still don't understand what is the structure of our government, even I studied it. Open knowledge management. Every member of every project knows everything that was collected by the project. And usually outsiders can also use this knowledge. Hackable technologies. This is very important because the world moved forward so fast on the internet that only members can be fast enough to adjust the technologies to fit the needs of today instead of fitting the needs of yesterday. And the last one, which is, I think, most important, is diversified participation, which is not an act of 1 per 4 year you're going to vote, but something that happens all the time and in different forms. It's so obvious on the internet that some people have more time, some people have less time, some people have those skills, some people have different skills. Some people have more time and interest in this, some people are motivated to do something else. That's how we work. And then look at democracy. Most of us participate in democracy once per 4 years or once per 5 years, but just going and voting. Unified way of participating. And then to jump to the next level, you have to jump through flaming hoops and either join a party or create an NGO and start supporting government. It's pretty hard, and I know very few people who did this, so most people are just on the flat ground. And an example is how works Mozilla project. And Mozilla project works a little bit differently. That's how we work, and I just wanted to present it to you to show how different it is. So we have members. Members use a huge technology stack. Like those are just examples. We have thousands of tools. But we use like wiki and news groups to communicate and build policies. We use IRC, phone, and video to have our parliamentary sessions every week. We use blogs to tell about what we are doing. And then we look at those people who are participating and are looking for the most skilled ones and most efficient ones. And we call them project leaders. And they constitute a government. We call it meritocracy. We base our choices on who is going to be in government, basing on his contribution to the system. And the most important part, from perspective I want to talk about, is about how this technology stack is open. It's open by design. You cannot close it. Nobody can. Basically, I said about these parliamentary sessions of Mozilla, where we are talking about future of Firefox, Thunderbird, whatever. The thing is that I'm a member of board of directors of Mozilla Europe. And I can do exactly the same thing as you can do, or you can do. I can dial in to the open call line every Monday at 8 p.m. and I can participate and I can say what I think. I can change the course of Mozilla project, and so you can. It's open. It's natural. It's always been like that. And yet it's so far for most of our projects. I want to talk about 3 examples very shortly, about 3 examples of how we could use the technology stack that was created for the projects to aid our democracy. The first one is Command. Command was created by Free Software Foundation when they wanted to create a new version of their license. And they couldn't figure out a way to gather feedback from the community in a way that would not destroy their work. So if you have 10,000 people who want to give comments and you have 3 lawyers who are writing the license, it would be not easy to manage this. So they couldn't find any tool, they created their own. Basically, it works like this. You have the document, and anyone can select a piece of text. It's so natural on the internet, and just give a comment. The more comments there are on each piece of text, the more yellow or then red it is. I can totally imagine this working on our public phase of a consultation for our legislature. So the next one is Ubuntu project was looking for a way to better express the group will, what the community wants, what are their problems. But the problem is that most people are complaining instead of expressing problems. So they created a tool and they built it in a way that separates problems that people can describe and solutions. People tend to jump to solutions. I want to change the government, but why? What is the problem? What is the reason? And then suddenly, when somebody from the Ubuntu crowd team can look at it, they usually see the problem and they see a group of solutions they can pick from or they can base their solution on. So I can imagine this working on a city level where citizens can just share what their problems with the city are, and the town hall can help them or cooperate on some level in solving those. The third one is a very basic one. It's a diff system. I'm showing the one from Wikipedia, but we have many others. And it's a basic form of showing 2 different versions of text and tracking the progress of every text. I'd love to see that, and it would help us save us from several big media alerts over last years if we could see the versions of the legislature bills before they are passed and how they were produced and who did what, right? So what can it aid us with? There are 3 dimensions I think that are most important. The first is, of course, transparency, the big issue. We don't know how the law is passed right now. We don't understand it. We don't know who are the stakeholders and how they are meeting. We don't know that. Technology opens that because that's how it's designed. To help make it more direct democracy is a big issue now, closing the gap between citizens and government and removing the layers in between. But my favorite one is continuous democracy. Democracy as a ecosystem, participation ecosystem in which we all work together in two ways. First, we control the ones who control us. But the most important one is that we join them and we treat them as another project. The way we support Wikipedia, we could support our government. Why not? Of course, the center is data. We need some data. Free, perfect. We need some data. There is DataGov, there is DataGov UK. There are many more data projects. Maybe one day we will have DataGov PL created by our government that will give us the data and will allow us to use the data, because only then we can really start understanding and making informated decisions when we, for example, vote. But we cannot trust the government to do this. They are not very good at catching up with the modern society. So I recently heard that they are considering very strongly starting responding to emails from citizens just 2 years after we started strong discussions about email being dead. Amazing. So the central piece is a database, and I just draw some characteristics of how the database should look like. It should describe structures of the government, processes, data that is created by the government, and actors that we have, so mostly politicians. And it should have several characteristics that I believe will help us participate in the project of governing ourselves. First is being open, second is being reusable, hackable, of course. It should allow equal participation, and there are two things. If we want to give the feedback, we have to learn how to give, select noise, reduce this noise signal ratio, and we have to have some vandalism mitigation. It will be super hard to write down on our own, but fortunately, Wikipedia is doing this for 12 years now. And they found exactly efficient ways to mitigate vandalism, and we can just reuse it. So I started a project called Open Politics. Open Politics is a project that is doing just that. It's creating a database, it's creating a browser for people to read the data, an API for computers to read the data, so that people can create next tools that will reuse the data, and in the future it will give feedback. There are domains like that. You can use your browser to go there and see how it works. And I'm just going to present it as, yeah, I'll fit in time. So the way we can read this is people naturally on the internet navigate through using the search boxes. That's how it works for quite a long time. So the browser bases on the search box. You can just type anything into the search box. Eventually you can use categories, but nobody's using them. And then you see results. I just type a KO, and I have a list of deputies of a lower chamber of Polish parliament who have KO in their last name or first name. The other part that is much more important but less sexy is API, or depending on how geeky you are, actually. So the query, the API gov to 0PL, API gov to 0PL is allowing you to build query. For example, I just built a query for PO, which is Platforma Obywatelska, and the fields is name and email, and I got a JSON result with the list of emails of all members of upper chamber and lower chamber of parliament who are from PO, which allows me, for example, to create an application that will spam them with emails. Great. And the last part is first tool that I started writing. Well, actually, this caused me to write the previous one, which is called Accountables PL. And the website is supposed to help us with these elections. So basically, it will allow you to track the declarations of candidates. I know this guy is not it's not a candidate, but anyway, he has a nice picture, and I was looking for one from the parliament. And you can go there. The website works now. It is pretty alpha mode, but it works. You can create an account and use it. And you can gather the declarations. I want them to be verifiable. So there is a test of verification. For example, if he says, it'll be much better for you if you elect me. It's not verifiable. We cannot do this. But if he says, on the first year of my candidacy, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z, we can test if he did it, right? And then we can say if he did it right or wrong, build stats over time, and finally we can, over next elections, hold him more accountable. So my main point was that over the last 20 years, a new type of society has been formed. built on the principles of participation, collaboration, and hackability. This society faced unique challenges and responded to them by developing new forms of organization, power distribution, and governing. Those forms are focused on sustainability, transparency, and efficiency. And they built a huge set of technologies that we can use that enable them to do. And now we can use them outside of internet to aid our democracy, to help us control those who control us. And on the other hand, help them, treat them like another project we can participate in. Thank you very much. That's food for thought. Not yet. Thank you. I can do this one more time.
It'll never happen.
It'll never happen. You really think it will never happen?
I'm kidding.
Okay. I think it's a matter of when, not if.
In the US, they have a thing called the voting record. So
yep.
Every representative, when they vote on legislation,
yeah.
that record is
they
public.
Have more tools like that, but yeah, they have it.
You are talking about something a few steps beyond that.
Yeah. Affirmative, sir.
Now, Marek was talking about crystal balls. See, it's invisible, but it's there.
Smart people see it.
Don't drop it. These sorts of tools are, yeah, good. Yeah, be careful. It's valuable, this stuff.
I know.
These sorts of tools are obviously just beginning to get built.
Yep.
Not only that, the ideas behind those sorts of tools are only just beginning to emerge.
Wild West.
Yeehaw.
Yeehaw.
While we're rounding them up, these ideas and these tools, the politicians are circling the wagons.
Yep.
They don't like this.
I think they don't understand it. They're afraid.
Or at least a lot of them don't like it. There are ones who do, but they're possibly in the minority. Time-wise, introduction, alpha, public beta, public engagement. We're talking beyond the 376. These guys are at the bleeding edge of this stuff. But couple of orders removed from this room. Timing?
Oh.
In terms of effectiveness, how effective do you think it's going to be? How quickly?
So this is an excellent question. I had to say it, but it is an excellent question. So the big issue is that people tends to think about a revolution in terms of big bangs. So we have to prepare, and on one day we have to switch the flip the switch.
Sounds like TEDx.
Yeah, but I just believe that sometimes it doesn't happen like that. Sometimes we're opening it pretty slowly. We're just moving step by step, very, very slowly. We're just opening it up at a slower pace that people would expect, but at the one that is that makes people feel okay with what's going on. So I simply believe that the success of those projects, and I believe that my open politics, that the one you can find on Google, download and install on your own, it's open source, by the way, is cool, but it's just one. I believe that there will be startups working on this. Over the next 2 years, I believe that we'll have like 200 projects like that, different ones, and we'll compete. That's natural state of internet, evolutionary fights, the fittest wins. But I believe that it's not about who will open the whole government thing. I believe, or make it hackable. I believe that the progress happens when we just do this step by step. I just allowed you all to write an application that have emails for upper and lower chamber deputies. That's the first step. The second one will be we will have bills, we will have voting records. And every step is a win. Every step enables us to do much more than we were able to do previously. It gives us new tools. Technology gives us new tools to try to figure out what to do with our society.
So you're overlaying the technology adoption curve over the democratic or the political process.
Well, we have to mature to this, right? I didn't say we're ready.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.